Okay, so here's some close-ups of the 6-24x50 second focal plane. Euro diopter adjust. They've made this ring, which was inclined to come unstuck on the older generation scopes. They've made that stronger. Nice to see some progress there. You've still got outstanding turrets, but they've made the very nice touch of making one direction red and the other white, so more visual cues, which is always good. They've put a stub on the magnification ring and made it easier to turn. Brilliant. They show you now where your red matches up. So on 14, the dots are 0.5 mil rads. On 24, in red, they're MOA. That's a classy touch. That makes me think that they are constantly thinking, what do people want, what do people need, what are the little touches that make a difference. I like seeing stuff like that. On the 12 to 52, which we'll review separately, look at this, there's actually, as you zoom in, that's 26, that's MOA, there's actually a clunk there. You actually feel it on the mag ring. As you go around, click, there's another one at 14.4, which is 0.5 mil rad. Very classy touches. Round you go, and you can actually feel, click, 0.5 MOA at 52. So that's thoughtful. I like stuff like that. What else have they done? They have, on the 6-24, they haven't put the front focus in on the tube. That's only on the 40 mils. They've got side parallax here, which I always liked on these. It's got good feel. It's just well sorted. No lash. Does what it should do. And looking at the left side here, you've got the battery compartment here on the side of the side focus. And then here you've got your illumination on off. Now this is a new digital system, clears up the ocular, and it is more adjustable. The floating center dot is all that lights, which has become the trend, and I'm all for it. You don't want too much lit up because it ruins the contrast of the image, and you're only needing the dot in low light anyway. You've got to be very careful you don't have too much light, so just illuminating the center is the way that the industry seems to be going, and this works well. You flick either of the buttons and on it pops, then minus and plus does obviously what you'd expect. It's a relatively basic system compared to the Zeiss and S&B and Swaro systems, but essentially it works well in low light against a hedge line. When you lose the ret and you want to find it, the illumination will do that. 25 minutes per turn, big spaces, loud clicks, massive internal adjustment. These things are, well, they're pioneers. Just like the MP8 RET was a pioneer, so is this turret. But what they've done now, and I will do a separate detailed review on this because it does bear more explanation, but essentially what they've done is they've enabled you to bottom it out so that you can't go too low. In other words, a zero stop. There's also a floating indicator that you can use as a secondary 0 point or just a reminder of a previous setting. It's a useful little thing actually, and of course you can reset them once you've zeroed your scope, obviously. Same for the side. You've got one marked there for left wind, and white is right wind, so another visual cue there. Classy touch, that. So they've moved it forward ergonomically in some useful, thoughtful ways. I suppose what that leaves, once you've got through the ergonomics of how the scope works and reports back to you its settings and such like, what you're left with is reliability and optics and the rets. Bottom line is the edge to edge and the contrast and the pop of the image is absolutely outstanding. What the Meopta ZD 6-24 fell behind the Victory on ever so slightly was the resolution. It isn't a ultra sharp scope. The Victory was a bit sharper than the 6-24, and that helped it for me, pick out ultra detail at long range. Don't get me wrong, this scope does it. It does it better than, most, but compared to the best in the world, it got 8 out of 10 rather than 10 out of 10 for peak sharpness and resolution. The I.O.R is unbelievably sharp. It does pull ahead. I think it might be sharper than the Victory. It's real good there. I'd say that the resolution is a real strong point. The field of view, the contrast, the whole pop of the scope is really very, very impressive, even against the best in the world. So you're looking here at a scope that, at the moment in the UK, because of Optics Warehouse being kind enough to reflect the changes in the euro, and the euro being so weak, this scope, the 6-24x50 second focal plane, is £995. Yes, it's a bulkier scope, although it's not as military as it looks on the internet. It's got quite good lines actually when you put it on the rifle. This has got the sunshade on, so that's obviously making it rather bulkier. When you do that, not a million miles in it. So with this 6-24 model, which is £1,000, you've got big turrets, premium European glass with the field of view and the sharpness and the contrast, all that, mega Zeiss and Swarovski type quality. You've got upgraded ergonomics, zero stop, dual zero, illumination that works really well. It's got to be on your shortlist. It also looks better in the flesh than it does on the internet. It's obviously not a lightweight hunting scope, is it? But if you're going to go tactical, you might as well go 35mm. It's no big deal. In fact, I think it looks quite nicely proportioned. So yeah, I urge you to give Optics Warehouse a call and to try this 6-24 I.O.R in particular, because this one is a really good bargain at under £1,000 at the moment. Mounts wise, in 40mm, Optics Warehouse have got various options for you. This is a 40mm one piece, which is really smart. Nicely finished, good quality. It's a little bit higher than the two-piece rings, which look like this. I think people are used to these now. Really solid. These are the 35mm, but they look the same. And there's also a 6-bolt version that's obviously half as wide again, uber burly. And reasonable prices for tactical mounts. So Optics Warehouse got you covered there. 35mm and obviously 30 Third Eye Tactical, who are now Tier One, make beautiful mounts. I've got a set here to show you. They now come in a really smart box. That's definite progress. All smartly and safely packaged. Now these are aluminium, light, super burly and sublime quality. I mean, the finish and the exactitude of the machining, it's just beyond belief. Beautiful little bubble in there. They developed that so it wouldn't splash on recoil, it wouldn't come apart, wouldn't fall out, none of that. Quality, everything developed. Exact Picatinny arrest rail there. These are premium stuff. 6-bolt. It's a 4-bolt version of most of their mounts too. This is Picatinny obviously, which is pretty standard, but there are other standards, and they have got a really good selection. These are highs, but obviously there's different heights. I couldn't recommend these more highly. And I tested a 30mm set a few years ago, which had a single bolt here and 4 at the tops. So it was, you know, a previous incarnation of this, the non-tactical version. But that was repeatable, and I've used it many hundreds of times since on and off the rifle. Torque the screws into the same torque on a good rail, notably the third eye rail, the Tier One rail, that being, you know, super nice tolerance as well, and you've got a repeatable setup. And I don't mean give or take a bit, I mean exactly repeatable, which is really useful for taking your scope off your rifle for whatever reason. You can pop it back on, torque it up, and you know you're going to shoot in the same hole. So having premium quality mounts is a good investment, and these are absolutely gorgeous, these things. They do one piece as well, so they don't make anything in 40 yet, but in 35 they've got you covered. Money well spent. You're not going to wear them out.